Hi, I'm Olivia, and I want to talk about my fraught relationship with social media and how I'm choosing to navigate it with the knowledge that I have now. So, I feel like people in my generation are in such a unique position of being chronically online, and I was very much a part of that. I was addicted to the internet so deeply, like Tumblr, so many different social media sites I have been addicted to, and I will hold my hands up and say that and admit to that. I had a Facebook account before I was of legal age. It was supposed to be like 13. I definitely had it when I was like 10 or 11. Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, like all of them. And then there were all of these other ones. Like there was an app called Gift Boom. I was obsessed with that. I was obsessed with Gift Boom. I used to make like little artistic gifs. It doesn't exist anymore, but it was so fun. Tumblr as well. I was deep into Tumblr. I think a lot of people were, but it was just not a healthy place. It was definitely a lot more regulated back in the day. So I have been on social media since I was a child, since I was like 10, 11 years old, which is not good. Like, you know that all of the people who develop these websites and apps don't let their own children use it because they know the psychological effects of it, because it's harmful. Like, the way it's all linked up with dopamine and how they reward you and stuff, like, it's very algorithmic. They know what they're doing. They want people to spend as much time on there as possible. And oh my gosh, I miss out the huge one at the moment, TikTok. It's just super, super addictive, and I don't like my relationship with it. And I think I recognized from a fairly young age that I didn't like my relationship with social media. So when I was like 16 years old, I probably had Snapchat for a couple of years and I deleted it because there were certain times where I would just be sat at home, I'd be living my life, chilling, and then I'd see a picture of someone. It might be someone at the gym, it might be someone out having a meal, and I'd compare myself to them and be like, oh, I should be doing this, I should be doing that. Whereas if I had just been living in the moment, doing whatever, I didn't know what somebody else was doing in that exact moment, I wouldn't have cared. I don't care if somebody else is doing that. I need to be focused on me. That's the only thing that you can control. And there was so many situations where I'd like see, it was more of like a teenage thing where I might see two friends hanging out and I'm like, oh, they're like so much closer than we are. It honestly doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything, and you can really shape people's perceptions of you using social media. Like, I'm such a multifaceted person, but you can use social media to present an image of you that just isn't 100% complete, and it's just really weird. Like, I go to the gym, and I could make it look like I was banging out gym, I was obsessed with the gym, I was super into it, like posting all of my healthy meals and like only posting when I'm at the gym, or like I'm into film photography, so I can make it look like I'm super artistic and only post that side of me, or I like yoga, so I can only post about yoga and take pictures of me doing yoga related stuff and my crystals and me meditating, and all of those will shape different like perceptions of me, but they're all a part of who I am, and it's just very, very weird. And I understand that it's, for some people, especially aesthetics, like online aesthetics, they're constantly changing now with the trend cycle speeding up, but specific aesthetics and niches of people, for people who are lost in life, like having that identifier of belonging to a group and being in an in-group can be so valuable, of like creating a community of people who, whatever, we all dress Y2K or whatever the niche is. I can see the benefits of that, especially if you're using the internet as an escape, but I also think that it's a way to get pigeonholed and think that you have to behave in a certain kind of way when you don't actually have to. So that was my first taste of not being on social media, was deleting my Snapchat, which is like crazy. And people would always ask me for my Snapchat and I'd be like, I don't have it, and you'd get reactions like, why do you not have a Snapchat, blah blah blah. And that is definitely your reaction when you tell people you don't have social media. So I fully deleted my Facebook. I deactivated my Twitter account when I was 16 as well. I fully deleted everything when I was like 16, and I tried to stay off it as much as possible, but the one I did keep was Instagram, because it's such a good way to connect with people. I find it really easy to talk to people on that platform. It's just, it definitely has its value, and I've met a lot of people through Instagram that I wouldn't have otherwise, or I've learned about events and stuff like that through Instagram. And for me, that's been the hardest one to let go. Now, I don't think I've had Instagram for like half a year. And when I have had it, I haven't posted on it. So when I'm traveling, Instagram is so good because you can easily get other people's details, and you're in a different country and you can just search for different things and it will all come up. Super easy, as opposed to using like a browser. Instagram is just, a lot of people use it. So in that sense, okay, Instagram is good. But for me, like, I feel so much better for not being on Instagram, because I always compare myself to people, and there'll be certain people, certain influencers, and like I say, it's all an illusion and it's all a manipulation of people curating, cultivating this online aesthetic that doesn't fully represent who they are. Like, people time and time again will be like, oh, this is what I was posting on Instagram and this is how I was actually feeling at the time. It's not representative of a person and who they are. It just messes with your mind. And I think I had a very unhealthy relationship of comparing myself to certain people. There'd be certain people with certain accounts where I'd be like, oh, look at how they're dressed, or look at how their body is, look at what they're doing with their day. And when I don't have Instagram and I'm not looking at that, I'm just living in the moment and I'm not bothered about other people, and I just love that so much more. And being off it for an extended period of time, for like months at a time, you realise that. But it is also so tempting to go back and to want to look because of the convenience of, you know, connecting with people. But then I also think this. I am the type of person who prefers texting or like being on the phone and stuff. So if you actually hold value in my life and you matter to me, that's the way that you're going to communicate with me. I don't need superficial connections with people on Instagram to make me feel good about myself. Like, there'd always be, don't get me wrong, I care for these people on some level, but there'd just be people where it's like you message each other online and that's kind of the only exchange that you have, and that's not what I'm interested in. I want to have real genuine connections with people that I truly love. I'm not bothered with the, oh girlie, you look so good, and like that give and take stuff. It doesn't do anything for me. It doesn't make me feel good. So yeah, at the moment, the only social media, and I have never really considered this as social media, I have is YouTube. And thinking back on it, it's honestly been well over a decade since I've watched YouTubers. I think I've watched them since like 2010, 2011. Such a variety of YouTubers, and the platform has changed immensely in that period of time. I wish YouTube did like how many hours you watched in a year, or if they could just track how much my account had watched, because I know for a fact that the amount of hours that I spend on YouTube is obscene. And more so back in the day, like I used to have an iPad mini, and I would, any second I wasn't at school, I was like an iPad baby. My eyes would be glued to the screen. I'd be brushing my teeth and I'm watching something. I'm in bed and I'm watching something. I'm eating and I'm watching something. It was just such a distraction from life, and I've cut those habits out. I try not to listen. I'll listen to stuff when I'm eating, but I try not to watch stuff when I'm eating, and I try and have separation and like take breaks from my screen. And that's been in place for a few years, but YouTube is very much an addiction of mine to this day, and it's something that I want to like manage more. And yeah, I always find myself torn, because YouTube is such a great educational platform, and things will come up in my suggested that are relevant and like lead me down different paths. Like, I really do owe a lot of my spiritual journey to videos that I watched on YouTube. But how many hours have I wasted in its place watching irrelevant things that don't matter as well? So since YouTube Premium has been a thing, I have paid for it, because forget Netflix, I don't really watch it that much. Forget Amazon Prime, Disney Plus, any of the streaming services, I'm not really that interested. I am a YouTube consumer in my heart and soul. So I was like, okay, let me pay for YouTube Premium. Then you can play videos when you lock your phone. Honestly, it has been very, very dangerous. You know how many hours I must have racked up? It's scary. It's very scary when I think about it. So I'm still keeping it for the moment because I really don't like watching videos with ads on, but I've installed something on my laptop where I click on the YouTube home screen and it doesn't show me any videos and it doesn't show me any recommended videos when I do watch a video, which I think those things really lead to me spending more time on the platform than I should do, and I've deleted the app from my phone, so if I want to watch something I can only watch it on my laptop. So I'm hoping that that limits it, because I've tried so many different things and a lot of these apps, oh my gosh, I haven't talked about TikTok. TikTok, I'm Gen Z, but I'm older Gen Z. So it's not really something that I'm bothered about. I didn't get it until the pandemic. And I found a lot of interesting stuff through that, but that one is the worst for spending hours on, because at the top of the bar, you can't see what the time is. So you're just on the app and you can just scroll for hours and hours, and it learns more about you the more you interact with stuff, and it's just everything. You scroll, it's right up your street, and it's just not good. It's not good to be on there, in my opinion. And I don't like the new short form content. It's not really my vibe, like the reels and stuff like that. It's not something I want to consume. I'm definitely a YouTube girly. Like, I want at least 15 minutes of something juicy, a bit more substantial, a bit more fleshed out, rather than just seeing a quick little, here's 10 things, blah, 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 or whatever it is. So, yeah, that was my little sidetrack about TikTok, but YouTube, that's my issue. I have tried to control my usage before, and I know some people, maybe it's just my personality, or I just want to make things as easy for me as possible when it comes to limiting my time on social media, because I know plenty of people who can have apps on their phone like Instagram and Twitter and just not click on them ever. And I'm like, how can you do that? I don't have any self-control. And there was an app called Moment, I don't think it exists anymore, and that would like track your minutes on your phone, and they had a course, a 21-day course that you could go through, and it would kind of guide you with intention each day to try and get you away from your phone. So it would be like, put your phone in your bag so that you're creating distance, and you realize when you go to pick up your phone, it's kind of adding in that little lapse of time and making it a bit more difficult for you to go and use it. And it makes your brain become conscious of like, wow, look how often I am actually going to reach for my phone when it's all the way on the other side of the room, whatever it is. That was really useful. And then they introduced the screen time things. They have never worked for me, because I will just get the notification, you've been on here for 15 minutes, I will just click dismiss and I carry on, and I'm on it for however many hours. And I think a part of things when you're looking about how to quit using social media, people will be like, replace it with something else. I don't think I've done that efficiently. Or maybe I have. I maybe listen to music more. I used to have Instagram on, do you know the bottom bar of your phone on the iPhone? I used to have Instagram there, and I've replaced it with Spotify instead. So I think that's a healthier thing. It's a healthier escape. So I should actually, do you know, I should talk about what it's like being off social media and having people's reactions to it, because so many people think it's weird. Like, a lot of the people close to me think it's weird. No, well, not weird. They know me. The people who matter in life, they understand, and that's just who I am, that's what I'm doing, we get it. But other people, especially when you meet new people and they're like, oh, like, how do you want to communicate? And you're just like, you can take my number if you want, that's literally all I'm going to use. They're like, because you can really get a little bit of an idea about someone by looking at their Instagram page, and not having one that's like, oh, what? You just get weird reactions. It's really not that deep. And again, I stick by it. If you want to talk to me, you will talk to me regardless of the fact that I have social media or not. So, yeah. I honestly don't even know how I'm going with this. I just wanted to discuss my relationship with social media. Like, I'm glad now there's a lot more regulations in place and trigger warning, because I'm going to be talking about Tumblr, and you can guess the things that I'm going to get into from that. So I'm glad that there's a lot more things in place, but the things that I was consuming on the internet, I was looking at so much self-harm stuff, so many eating disorder stuff, that was just coming up again and again and again and again and again. Pinterest as well, the thigh gap was just really big back in like 2013 when I was a teenager, it was so unhealthy, and it would just get pushed to me, and there was nothing to stop that from coming into my realm. And thankfully that didn't lead to those behaviors in me, but if it hits people who are more leaning more towards that direction, it can be something to aid them on. And I just think it's not good. Like, and I just think if my mum knew what I was looking at, she obviously didn't, she wasn't, she had no idea what I was consuming or looking at, but like, I was consuming a lot of things that I should not have been consuming when I was a young person, and it's just mad. It must be so hard to be a parent in this day and age, because there is that element of social inclusion of being on social media. Like I'm saying, people, it's not that big a deal, but people will find it odd that I'm not on there. But if you're a child, like you're like 10, 11, 12, and there's a social dynamics of like everyone's on TikTok, everyone's doing this dance, and you're not involved in that because your parent won't let you be on TikTok, you grow resentment towards it. Oh, it's all complex. It's all very complex. But I guess that's that. I don't have much else to say. So, thank you for listening. See you there. Bye.